This makes me think of something I've heard, which is it's good to suffer for bad decisions. Oftentimes, suffering obviously is not fun in the moment, and it's something that comes with a lot of pain and something that we look back on and or at least in the moment, we don't like. But oftentimes, when we look back on the suffering and we realize the lessons that we learned from that suffering, we can be grateful in that sense. But it definitely is, it's tough and it's a tough part of life. It's tough, but it's a part of life. A lot of the times we may have regrets for the mistakes we may have made or are making right now, but a lot of the times, pain that we receive or experience because of our bad decisions is what pulls us and pushes us to better decisions, to goodness. The bad that we experience, the bad that we do, and the pain that comes from that pushes us to goodness. And I like that reminder. And I think it's very powerful because just today one of my friends from high school sent a old video of me in a group chat of me doing something that I'm not proud of. But just looking back on that, or thinking even more seriously, like maybe there's some stuff we've done in the past where we find it hard to forgive ourselves. But at the same time, it's almost like if we didn't make those mistakes, we wouldn't have been able to learn the way we did. I mean, ideally, obviously, in a perfect world, like you want to be able to learn from the mistakes of others and not even ideally we live a life where we don't touch the stove in the first place because we know it's hot and we've seen others be burned. But other times, like that's just not the case. And a lot of times in life, like we'll make mistakes. But then fast forward to today, we now learn the lesson of those mistakes and we are more wise because of it. And so looking back, yes, there can be regret, but there's also a different way to look at it, I guess, because I'm not going to say that our mistake was the only way we could have learned the lesson, but it was a way that we learned the lesson and it's all we have. And in that sense, like anything else outside of that is out of our control because it's already happened, it's in the past and we can't control that. But we can control again the lessons that we learn and how we can move forward with that. And so when I think about that and I think about the video that my high school friend sent today, I was able to look at my old self, my old high school self, in a lot less shame because he was a kid trying to figure things out. In a lot of ways, I'm still a kid and I'm still figuring things out. And I got to be okay with that. And I got to be okay with the old David and that kid and accept him for who he is because he's growing, accept myself for who I am because I'm growing and figuring things out. And so, in that way, the temptation to be regretful or hate my old self or hate myself right now doesn't necessarily help me. Hating yourself doesn't help yourself. You may think it does, but I would challenge you, and I often challenge myself to think about, like, okay, I'm criticizing myself. I'm mad at myself. I regret this. I regret that. But does me ruminating and staying stuck in this negativity, does it inflate me or deflate me? Does it make it more likely for me to achieve my goals or less likely to? Does it make me more motivated or less motivated? Am I more encouraged by this or less encouraged by these negative thoughts? And then when I think about the opposite end of like, okay, whatever, I made the mistake, yes, and I'm acknowledging that I want to grow and have hope for a better future. Does that positive frame make it more likely for me to achieve my goals or less likely? Am I inflated or deflated? Probably inflated, right? Things like that are just gentle reminders in times of darkness to help me to keep pushing forward, even when I don't feel like I can. And so, if you're hearing this now, I hope asking those sorts of questions in your life where you may feel like everything is dark, I hope that helps you see a bit of the light in the situation and helps you push forward as well. Oh, and last thing I wanted to mention, something that just popped up is don't think your suffering or the lessons that you learn from them is meaningless or just for you. In a lot of ways, like the mistakes that you made and the lessons that you learned from them are a big part of an opportunity for you to teach other people and help other people, help them like not make the same mistakes you did. I mean, think about it for your side. Like, think about all the mistakes you haven't made because you saw somebody else, whether they specifically taught you or just indirectly you saw their example. Think about how helpful that was and how, for me as a kid, I saw a lot of the consequences of not living a healthy lifestyle and seeing how that can carry into becoming overweight or having health conditions, negative health conditions. In that sense, that's what helped me want to live a healthier life, per se, because I saw the negative consequences and the lessons that other people taught me indirectly. And so, in that sense, thinking about our mistakes that we make, like, okay, if we made the mistakes, like there's probably other people that could make them as well. And if that's the case, how can we help them? And this doesn't have to be This doesn't have to mean like making videos like this. Like this is meaningless compared to helping your future son or kid or daughter. Like that's even more meaningful. And so even if it's just that, like that's more powerful. And if you go into if you go into parenting with that intention of like, okay, how can I help my kids not make the same mistakes I did? How can I help them be even better than me? Being intentional with that is powerful. And I think if a lot of more parents do that in our country, like, man, we're raising up a different generation for sure. And so that's one thing. But even if you're single and don't have kids and you're in your younger stages of life like me, like it doesn't have to be your kids. Obviously, it can be other people around you, friends, classmates, people in your community, at your church or in your group. I don't know. And I don't mean like I don't mean like how do I say this? I don't mean going up to people and trying to investigate their problems and then laying out a solution for them. Like, no, that's I don't mean that. Like, definitely don't start shoving lessons and preaching stuff to people randomly. But a lot of what you teach could be how you live and the example you set. They were gonna notice, like, oh man, this guy takes care of his body. He's not making the mistake of not doing that and not going to the gym and not being mindful of what he eats. Or it can be how you treat people and your kindness. Like, oh, this guy, he's he's different. He's patient and present in conversation. He's actually listening to people and he's being kind to whoever he treats or whoever he meets, no matter if their status or whatever. People are gonna see that and they're gonna be like, oh, he's not making the mistake of being prideful or only treating people for what he can gain out of them. People notice the difference in that. And a lot of the times your actions can be lessons in themselves without you actually purposely trying to teach people. You again indirectly do it. And again, you see this with people, like even though nobody ever specifically sat you down and gave you a lecture on how you should not live, or for me, like nobody sat me down when I was young and was like, okay, make sure you do this, you go to the gym, you do this and this and this. I learned that over time, and like from YouTube, but I also learned that from seeing other people and seeing the mistakes they made. In the same way for us, like our lives matter more than we think sometimes, and people watch, and the example you set can be a powerful one in both either negative or positive. And so also remember that, and remember how your life can impact others and the opportunity that exists for you to live a positive one and be a positive impact to those around you. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.